but especially when you're men and men who are supposed to be leaders, men who want to talk about everything else and be these monoliths of society, but really when it boils down to it are just bitches, is a problem. And I don't understand why we continue to allow these people to have these platforms. Like I said, especially when first, I'm going to talk about the backlash that Awkwafina is facing from, she got nominated for NAACP Image Award for voice acting. And of course, we are very protective over our culture, right? And that's one thing that I love about our culture very much so, is that how protective over the culture we are. It's important. And it means something, right? And the NAACP Image Awards, while they're not huge or anything like that, and I guess to a degree they are, but I understand why people would be protective over it and frustrated that somebody who's not of the culture. Now, it's important to note that the NAACP Image Awards isn't just for black people, so there is precedence to be set here. Now, some of the backlash that she is facing is because people have come down on her for using quote unquote a black accent, right? A accent trying to imitate black people. And there are a lot of people who do that in the media, and I've talked about how black vernacular is very much used in many promotions, commercials, things like that. And I get it. And we are, like I said, very protective of our culture. That is one thing that we probably need to be more protective of our culture in some ways, and we need to ease up in some other ways. As far as when it comes to this Awkwafina thing, like I said, while I completely understand the backlash, I understand why people being upset. I think those people may not be aware that the NAACP Image Awards aren't just for black people. Something's to be said to that, on us needing more things that are just for us and representative of us. But let me know what you guys think. If you guys agree with the backlash for Awkwafina, I just wanted to, Awkwafina is one of those people who I think people either love or hate. And especially those that hate, and then for her to get nominated for NAACP Image Award, it was just everything aligned for people to really just go in on that one. But let me know what you guys think. As far as where I stand on it, it kind of is what it is. When it comes to awards, especially, like I said, an award system that isn't just made to honor black people, it is what it is. And she has done a hell of a job with some voice acting. So, the black accent thing, maybe that's a thing for another episode. Like I said, I've touched on it on a discussion topic before, but maybe going more in depth on it and how people feel about it. But let's get into our third topic for today. And this is, unfortunately, that we have to talk about idiots, right? That's just what it boils down to. First of all, anything that involves DJ academics and people consume it and believe it or whatever else, I have to question what you guys are doing, what you guys are thinking. But let's go ahead and play a clip from this podcast called Fresh and Fit. Down. You guys may remember I did an episode where I kind of bashed men with this type of thinking as well, and this video went viral. And my tweet on it kind of popped off. But this is my problem with people who are quote unquote modern men, right? And the issue that we have of men who feel like they have to be anti-women to feel empowered. You're cowards. That's just what I want to say. Anybody who feels like they have to be anti-anything to be pro something else are cowards in general, but especially when you're men. And men who are supposed to be leaders, men who want to talk about everything else and be these monoliths of society, but really when it boils down to it are just bitches, is a problem. And I don't understand why we continue to allow these people to have these platforms. Like I said, especially with DJ academics being involved, but these two fucking idiots from the Fresh and Fit podcast, the fact that you invite somebody on your platform and then you think that that's an opportunity for you to go at them. Yeah, it's content that's going to get clicks. It's content that's going to go viral. It's content that's going to be controversial. And this is the problem with men. As many men who want to sit around and talk about women, it's too many men right now in society that's platforms are built around talking about what women don't do and not enough about what men should be doing or what they are doing themselves for the black culture or for society in general. This is the thing the type of thing that bothers me. It's not just because people have variants of opinions. I don't give a fuck about anybody else's opinion as far as like it being different from mine. You can have a different opinion. I don't have to agree with you to understand you, right? That's one thing that this podcast is built on. Agreeance and understanding are two different things, and you don't have to have both to understand somebody's point. But when it's people like this who sit around, use their platform to bash women and think it's either funny, think it's going to get them clicks, thinks it makes them seem powerful, thinks it makes them quote unquote alphas. There was another clip of him going around being like, listen, at this point, I know I've done an episode on Sigma males and everything like that. Anyone who beats their chest, puts down and is anti-women, and then calls themselves an alpha is really just a bitch in hiding. And that's what it boils down to. And this boils down, and this applies to the Fresh and Fit podcast people. It's sad in many ways, right? It's very sad that you have people like this with platforms, with huge platforms that could help people, that sit around and push agendas, push their own things. And that's what, it's cowardice in a way. It's really cowardice. And you have to ask yourself, who the fuck raised these men? Right? We have to ask ourselves this. What, as a society, does it say about us that we have men in this type of place with this type of platform that's large, right? It is what it is. And the Kevin Samuels stands and that type of mindset, again, people who take bits and pieces of things and use them to try to extrapolate and, fill in their whole methodology, are just dumbasses, and they aren't stewards of the culture. They aren't stewards of the society. They shouldn't get the voices that they have, and it's unfortunate, right? It's unfortunate that you use a platform like this to call a woman on, regardless of this is not me saying that I agree with her actions. I disagree. I don't know much about her at all, but I'm just saying, as a man, to sit there on a platform and use that to belittle women at all is sad. And I'm standing on that. Now, what's funny about this, right, to come back and report on this even further, is that then pictures came out of Fresh Prince CEO, one of the main culprits in the video, of him being hugged up with a man and in bed with a man kissing him on his cheek. And I'm going to go ahead, for those who watch on YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and show the pictures here. And this is the problem, right? Like, regardless of whatever's going on in this personal man's life, I don't give a fuck, right? I don't give a damn if he's gay, straight, bi, anything. What I've always said, what people do in the privacy of their own home is just that. It's private, and it doesn't matter, right? But when you use things to bash people and you're dealing with it, and this is what I think about a lot of these type of men who have become anti-women and who've used platforms, they're really battling and dealing with some shit internally that they keep avoiding it, and because they're avoiding dealing with it, they are then attacking women. And that's the sad part about this. That is the sad, frustrating, and disappointing part about all this. Like, again, whatever he does, whether this is just pictures to be funny with friends, I don't give a damn what this man's sexual orientation is, but he doesn't deserve the embarrassment that he got because of the bullshit he decides to peddle on his weak ass platform. That's what I feel about it. You can agree, you can disagree. I really don't give a damn if you agree or disagree with me on this. You are welcome to your opinion. You're welcome to your thoughts. You're welcome to your feelings. But for me and mine, and standing on this platform, men who do this type of shit deserve to be roasted. They deserve to be treated as the bitches that they so rightfully are, in my humble opinion. And that's what I'm going to stand on, and that's what I'm going to continue to talk about on my platform, and I'll let them talk about what they do on their platform. But at the end of the day, if a man is going to be a man, regardless, right, leaders of society, then we need to do that. We need to stop talking so much, stop worrying about what other people are not doing, and focus more on the actions and leading by that example of what you show and what you set out to do. People who talk more than they actually lead are the exact problem with the society and the exact type of people who are hurting the culture. And that's my opinion on it. That's where I'm standing on it. And that's the end of this week's In the Mind of Haize segment. We're going to go ahead. We're going to take a brief break. We're going to play some music. On the other side of that, we're going to jump into the main discussion topic today, featuring Bobby from the Cognac Boys, talking about mental health, the military, and just growth as a man overall. I'll see you guys right after this.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.